find it on the original one. We hadn't changed that. For some reason, on the one that I received, the join and divide lots was scratched out too, so I'm assuming we decided we didn't need that.
We'll look into it.
Yeah, I don't know why that was. This was one that came from your office, so.
Okay.
We're trying to get all the rest of stuff in there. Is there any other category that we're missing that you've thought about? And I'm assuming that if you pass a resolution, this is probably a question for Joe, if you pass a resolution, that according to all the information that, and the rest of stuff, and the zoning stuff, that said that the fee schedule can be reviewed each year by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Well, if there's probably no need for the council to review it every year, if the P&Z Commission does it, unless there's any changes.
Right. Any changes would have to go.
I just assumed that the council did it,
Well,
because they're the ones,
They did it originally, because we didn't know anything about it until it was a done deal. That's why I didn't even have a copy until I got it from them, so.
I have a question for Terry. If someone put a replace, it says the steps or replace a deck, you guys did a building permit for that? Replace an existing?
We've had a lot of discussion about that.
I should hope not.
I can see no reason for a new permit on that,
well,
unless they change the square footage.
unless they
or
change the
design.
diameter
Yeah.
or the position of the post that they're digging in. And maybe the permit wouldn't cost anything, but at least you should know about it, because they may be digging somewhere where they shouldn't be without calling Iowa Wind Call.
The way I see it, if the dimensions stay the same, I consider that maintenance. If they demolish it and make it twice as big, I feel it should have a permit, but I'm open for, I guess I know.
And the idea was,
That makes sense.
with steps though, what if you put in a different door? This is some discussion we've had. You put in a different doorway and maybe put in a sliding, you had steps coming out of a single door. You put in like a sliding door and you want to make your step wider. What's that? Where's that go? That's one of those.
Gray area.
Yeah. And
Let's
Judge
hope
Coleman.
you use some judgment on that, because that's the last thing we do is start nickel diamond permit.
Well,
Try to-
it's like I said though, Jim, maybe you don't charge for it. Maybe you just have somebody make sure that they're not infringing on the utility of
Well,
some
the way
kind.
the ordinance are written is to allow a certain amount of reasonability here. That allows our P&Z officer the opportunity to review the matter and to, and I have to say that we've consulted every time it's come up an issue and tried to develop a consensus as far as what we believe the reasonable option is on how to approach the situation.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to ask questions. Anything that gets iffy,
Like
I think
replacing
that's great.
100-foot of sidewalk, somebody got an old sidewalk, and they always want to put brand new sidewalk in the same place.
if it's the same size, I don't feel they need a permit. This issue came up, not that we're
Just want
talking,
to discourage people fix stuff
Right.
up. But the
but
attitude.
we had a question and they haven't come in even for a permit yet, but they want to widen out the site. They're expanding on it. I see the point, they're improving.
We had a sidewalk committee that went through, and there should be sidewalk specifications in your ordinances someplace for replacement.
I believe there is. I remember that going through
Yeah. It's been a while.
5 years ago, maybe a little more than that.
Maybe longer than that.
Yeah.
Maybe 1993, so I don't know, I have to look.
A question I had on these handicap accessible, or these ramps, a lot of houses are built closer than the setback. There's a 25-foot setback. And in some of the older areas of town, the houses are, we'll just say 22 foot. And the step extends beyond that. So for them to add anything on, they're actually in, I don't have a problem with it, but we got to be the same for everybody.
Right.
you're actually infringing upon the easement. We had this discussion already once.
Yep. And it hasn't come to, the permit hasn't, you know, it was just a question brought to me by the property.
And I don't think we're here to micromanage the guy that we hired to do this.
Yes,
So,
judgment call.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
right.
But I will ask questions, and I'm not going to do
And I did ask, like, the cities, what they considered like permanently installed, and they said, well, you know, if you pour concrete as a handicap, there's permit for permanently installed. Where if it's something that easily movable, somebody sells their home and, you know, move away or something.
Take that handicap right.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people, you know,
I mean, that's a necessity or what.
Yeah, you wouldn't
no, I
want
wouldn't
to
want
keep
the
it,
brand.
Yeah.
if you didn't need it.
It was just another one of those gray
people.
areas that everybody has to deal with that we hadn't thought of. And it's, these are going to continue to come up, and as they do, I guess,
absolutely.
we need to,
Yeah.
if they come, if we have stranger things when they come up, and, you know, we need to make sure that we keep a list of those so we can see if we can deal with those either under a category or put a new one in.
One thing was discussed is what defines as a tree house. Is a floor defined as a tree house? Does it have to have walls? Does it have to have a roof? You know, as, in the discussions we've had, we try to somewhat consider what the definitions would be and what a reasonable situation would be as far as what would.
What's the difference between a tree house and a deer stand or something like that? Yeah.
What's 3 2x4s and a half a sheet of plywood out of the old back garage? Is that,
Yeah.
you know, is that a permitted?
So, yeah, there's a lot of gray, I guess what I'm saying,
Lot of
there's
gray
a
area.
lot of gray area that has to be reviewed.
So anyway, of the, adding in the commercial industrial, and obviously I sent you the one before we figured out the handicap ramps and stuff. If I get you out a new fee schedule, we'll take a look at it again next month. And if you think of anything else that needs to be on there, if we're gonna say, email me or something, and we'll make sure that it gets there. So you're just, all you have to do is have the ordinance ready to take the old one out and put the new one in, I guess, so.
We have to go, like I said, we have to go through a hearing process. So
Right.
it will take
Right.
a few steps to get to that.
So obviously, we're gonna meet again in June. Okay, is there any other new business? Any other business?
So are we going to go look at that map, or what are we
Yep,
doing?
we're gonna get up and take a look at that when we're finished, so if there's any other business, then we'll get up and rally around the map and see what we can do with that. Anything else for the good of the cause?
How did we leave the Curly Mansion?
How do we go in?
How did we leave it last meeting? I remember we discussed it a little bit in the porch, but I don't know if anything ever came of that.
Yeah, what's going to happen to that?
Well,
I have legwork done for a letter.
that's,
It will not be reviewed. There is definitely a corner of the building that is unconcerned.
They've also had a complaint to the council, or not so much a complaint, but a warning that people take their little gardens and all that, if they go let grow up the weeds out front.
Yeah. Well, and then some of those pots are tipped over, I don't know.
Well, the wind did that
Did it?
really windy
Yeah.
day.
The yard, we should be able to.
do we need to send a letter to the owner?
Yes.
I have her address. I have the description.
Okay.
I guess what we're saying is that the preliminary work's been done, a letter has not been sent yet.
And I think out of state, we owe her a picture. She may not even know what's wrong.
Is it his daughter the owner, or is she still the owner?
Well, I have Sandra.
Was that
That's his
wife?
wife, yeah.
And there are rumblings there may be a change of ownership back to the bank. I mean, and that's just rumblings, but
Well,
I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, we still want to do the right process to the
That's
right
right.
people until that happens.
I mean, all I just went down and found
and start
the
the
deed owner
process.
and her.
Yeah.
You may want to go visit with Jason before you send him